Temperatures are sweltering out there already, but they've been sampling them out on the training pitch, although not all of them.
No, not all of them. First of all, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain has been doing some training, which is great news because his knee has been in a brace since the second to last friendly last week. Steven Gerrard did some light training. He's got a slightly tight groin, but from what we understand, not anything of huge concern. Thing is, the heat they're in Rio is all very well and good, but actually, they're only based there, I think, because they've been based there before when they went to Brazil for a friendly. Actually, they're going up into the jungle to play in Manaus, where the humidity is going to be about 8 times worse. So I have no idea what they're doing in Rio, really.
Yes, they're at the coast. Why aren't they training in the Amazon where they're going to play Italy?
They are going up to Manaus later in the week, and their game isn't till Saturday. But I don't know. I mean, they're playing in 3 different places, in Manaus, in Belo Horizonte and Sao Paulo, and they are staying in Rio. So they're going to be doing a huge amount of travelling.
They are, unfortunately. As you mentioned there, the first game against Italy on Saturday. Painful memories of losing to them on penalties at Euro 2012. How are they going to get rid of that from their minds? Well,
I'm not really sure because I don't think Roy Hodgson will go with players that don't remember that. And what I think and many of us hope is that Roy Hodgson will be able to basically feel like he can trust some of the youngsters to play. I still think Roy Hodgson will go with the experience over the excitement of, say, Sterling and Ross Barkley and use them from the bench. And what's going to happen is basically we've got players who remember losing to Italy on penalties, which won't be great.
Although since they've been working with psychologists, haven't they, to sort of get that chimp off their backs.
Dr. Steve Peters, the magician.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just as outside of their own cosseted existence, the protests against the World Cup in Brazil have been continuing.
Yeah, and this is a huge problem. Sao Paulo is the kind of main place where this is happening, and there were arrests and tear gas this morning. Basically, the stadium that hosts the opening game of the World Cup is in Sao Paulo. Everyone really needs to get there on the metro, and the metro are striking, and they are striking indefinitely until their pay demands have been met. I mean, basically, a lot of people in Brazil object to an $11 billion bill to host a World Cup when there is no infrastructure, people who can't get jobs, and absolutely no help for people in poverty. Well,
there's been wider coverage of the favelas in the build-up to the World Cup, and the England squad have been to visit one, haven't they?
They have, and that was on their schedule today after training. And actually, they're keeping it private, from what I understand. I'm sure there'll be a little bit of press coverage, but really, it's just a chance for the England players to get out a little bit, but also just a chance for them to see a little bit more of Brazil that tourists will go and see, because they'll all go and have see the favelas in Rio, which are really beautiful, very diverse, but also very sad places. So I think it's a good chance for them to just, you know, for a couple of hours, get out of the media spotlight.
The biggest stadium of them all is the Maracanã, and is very famous. Are the rest of them ready? I mean, this has been the concern from day one. Is Brazil going to be ready in time?
I think, from what I understand, Brazil is pretty much ready. These protests that are going on in Sao Paulo, but are likely to go back to other cities, have been going on for a long time, actually, on and off, you know, since the Confederations Cup last year and before that, could really cause a massive problem, because if people can't get to stadiums and they can't get to games, then there's going to be an issue.
I know the thing that's upsetting you the most is the news that Jennifer Lopez has pulled out of the opening ceremony.
That well-known Brazilian, Jennifer Lopez.
Well, yes.
She's American of Puerto Rican descent, so why she was the top billing in a Brazil World Cup, I have no idea. Barry Manilow and Copacabana is really all they need, isn't it, for the opening ceremony?
I think they should get Diana Ross in to take a penalty, like way back in 1994, but perhaps she's busy.
You're showing your age there.
I'm afraid I am.